Celeste Cuffey here of Life Empowered Consulting Services, where our mission is to reach, empower, and motivate others to access and utilize their inherent, their natural, their God given talents and skills, building better families, companies, and communities worldwide. Thank you so much for joining me on today. So many things going on, so many things that I want to share with you. But before I get into the life empowered moment for today, just a couple of announcements. One, on this evening at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be hosting a session on Facebook Live. So make sure that you're here at Celeste Empowers or Life Empowered, where we will be doing the lessons from the Michelle Obama book tour. The other thing is, if you would, please do not hesitate to go out to my website, which is www.celestecuffey.com. If you go there, underneath blogs and gallery, you will find Life Empowered Moments. And if you enjoy this video, there are tons of others out there that I know that you'll get value, information, as well as inspiration from. The definition of empowered is to have the tools to become successful or achieve your goals. And that is definitely my goal, to get you put in a place or in a situation where I've given you and I've shared with you the tools that you need to achieve your goals. So with that, I wanted to just go ahead into what I have prepared for us on this morning. Again, don't forget, I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But over the last couple of days, I've been doing quite a bit of cleaning. I've been doing quite a bit of purging, for lack of a better word. I've been saying that word every time I move something around. I say the purge begins. The purge begins. And so I found myself yesterday cleaning my room, my office, cleaning my own home office, reorganizing and putting some stuff away, trying to get rid of some things. And when I first walked into the office, I was trying to figure out, because at initial sight, it looked like there was so much to do, so much to accomplish, so much to clean. I needed to know where to start. I needed to know where to start. And so the first thing that I did in starting the cleaning process was I asked myself, what's in this room? What's in this office that does not belong? What does not belong here? And when I began to look around in the office and I began to pick up things that did not belong, I realized that I had quite a few things in my room, in my office, that did not belong. So for example, I had about 4 or 5 pair of shoes. Now, those of you that know me know that I have shoes. I love shoes. That's kind of my thing. But they did not belong here. The next thing is that I had hair gel in here. I had earrings in here. I had just all kinds of stuff that just really did not need to be here. They did not belong in the space. Purses I had in here that did not need to be in here. And so that was the first thing that I did. I began to get rid of the stuff that did not belong in my office. But then the second thing that I did was I started going through the papers, my papers, and organizing. And what I realized as I was going through and as I was organizing and as I was cleaning, I realized that I had stuff in here that I had no use for anymore. There were things that I've been carrying around in this office that they don't do anything for me anymore. And so I began to really think about that, and it challenged me to ask myself, and now I'm asking you the question, what are you carrying around from your past? And why are you carrying it around? Sometimes we know why we have things, or how we got those things. We know why we have them, but why do we have them now? Do we still need those things? What value do they provide? How do they serve you? And so that's the question that I want you to ask yourself on today when you look back, and not just in the physical. So this was a physical example, but think about within yourself. What are you carrying around today, and why? How is it serving you? And so, and I looked at a lot of stuff, and my truth was, I just accumulated a lot of stuff that said I'll get to it later. So when I think about receipts, for example, I'll sort them later. Or when I think about the shoes, it's right at my back door. So I would kick them in the office and say, I'll deal with it later. But let's talk about dealing with things later. I got this weight, and I love my pastor. So, and I had got this a bunch of years ago, but it's just a paperweight. And I remember getting this weight, asking, what am I going to do with this weight? How am I going to use this weight? And today is actually the first time that I've ever used this weight. But I realized that I was using it because I wanted to hold something down. And so I'm using the weight today, and I'm holding my notebook open, but I'm holding one side of it down. So the question is, what are you trying to hold down when you're holding on to those things? Because that's what weight does. It holds you down. So what are you trying to hold down? Or what are you saying you don't want to hold down, but because you're carrying all of this weight, you're holding it down? So this is what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to go through the process of asking yourself these questions. The problem with delegating is that it becomes a weight and it'll hold you down. So I am quick, and I always say we have to deal with our challenges. We have to deal with our issues. We have to deal with our situations. But what does dealing really look like? What does dealing really mean? And let me give you a few things to share with you. The first thing is that we have to look at it. We have to actually pick that thing up. We have to spend some time, some mental energy looking at it and assessing what that thing is. Okay? Then the second thing that you want to do is identify the value of it. And again, I asked earlier, how does it serve you? Identify the current value of that thing. Identify the current value of the hurt. Identify the current value of the stress. Identify the current value of the baggage that you're carrying everywhere you go. Identify the value of it and how it's serving you. And then let me just say this. You can carry the purpose of that situation and not carry the pain. You can carry the lesson learned and not carry all the hurt that goes along with it, or that went along with it. But that's where the third action item comes in which you have to decide. You have to decide, right? So the first thing, again, identify what it is. Look at it. Second thing, identify the value of it, the current value of it. And then the third thing is decide. Are you going to preserve it, or are you going to part with it? You get to make that decision. That choice is yours. I think about a cup. So I have this cup here, and I'm all about inspiration. And so this particular cup says, you are an amazing woman. But if I fill this cup up with coffee, then there's no space to fill this cup up with water. If I fill this cup up with water, there's no space to fill the cup up with wine. So think about, when you decide whether or not you are going to preserve that thing or part with it, think about what you could put in its place that is of more value to you. Okay? So I was talking to my son because, again, the purge is real and it's really happening. And I had packed up like a huge basket of clothes, suits, dresses, stuff. And I was dropping it off to the Goodwill. And I think in my conversation, I was like, yeah, now it's time to go shopping. And my son said, well, what's the purpose of getting rid of stuff if you're going to buy something else, if you're just going to fill it back up again? There is purpose in getting rid of the old so that you have space and opportunity for the new. There's purpose in getting rid of the pain so that you have space for the pleasure. There's purpose in getting rid of the hurt so that you have place and space for the healing. And so, yes, get rid of the old so that you can bring in and embrace the new. So, I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you on today. Um, and then the last thing, there's a guy by the name of David Allen, and he has this book called Getting Things Done. And so he has a real clear process on how to identify and assess what to do and how to get things done in terms of just being more organized. And he actually talks about work-life balance and all of those fun things. But there is a process and there's like a flow chart, right? So it starts with the stuff and you're bringing it into you. So think about all of the external influences that you bring into you. Now, what do we do with that? And that's kind of the flow that you have to think about and that you have to assess. Now that I've allowed all of these things to come into my space, what do I do with it? Do I retain it or do I relinquish it? Do I let it go? So I encourage you on today to hear again what I am sharing in terms of the lessons just from cleaning my office. And so, yes, my office is a lot cleaner now. It's a lot more organized. I got rid of a lot of stuff so that I could add the stuff that I needed that was of value. There was no reason for me to have things from 5 years ago, just papers, just for no reason because I did not deal with it and it weighed me down. So I encourage you to let go of the weights. I encourage you to let go of the things that weigh you down. And I encourage you to live a life empowered. And so I did give you tools on today just to reiterate the 3 tools is to look at it, right? Look at what your stuff is. The second thing is to identify its current value. And the third thing is to make a decision and follow through on the decision. So again, thank you so much for your time. I will see you all tonight at 8 p.m. and continue to live life empowered. Take care. Goodbye.